Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ABG Investor Days. My name is Adrian Galani, and I'm an equity research analyst here at ABG. And up next, we have a presentation of OrganoClick. And with me today, we have CEO at OrganoClick, Morten Hellberg. He will talk for roughly 20 minutes about the company, and then we will have time for some Q&A after that. So, Morten, please go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you very much, Adrian, for the introduction. As mentioned, my name is Morten Hellberg. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of OrganoClick. 17 years ago, I was involved in founding the company together with two Swedish professors, one professor in organic chemistry and one professor in cellulose chemistry. And they already back in the mid-90s started to realize that this will become a problem. Synthetic chemicals and plastics that does not degrade, that are now accumulating in our environment. And as you probably are aware of, today around 11 million tons of plastics are released into the oceans annually and are just gathered there. So what they started to look at was to how can you use natural chemistries in order to replace these synthetic chemistries and this type of synthetic plastics. And this is a field of research which is called biomimicry. That is, you're looking at natural chemical processes or natural processes and try to mimic that in industrial environment. And our science, it already started back in the mid-90s. What our scientific co-founders have looked into is what is the chemistry behind a tree becoming so strong? Or why does some leaves become water repellent? Or why does some trees burn less good than other trees? What are the chemistries and molecules doing this in reality? Based on this, they developed a technology which we call modification of cellulosic fibers. That is, we can click on organic molecule to the cellulose fiber, which is the core component in wood, paper, non-woven textiles, which I will talk a little bit more about, and textiles made of natural fibers. Today we have a product portfolio that is based on this core technology, where you can create water resistance to these materials, grease resistance, mechanical strength, fire protection, and rot protection. So we have developed a number of technologies based on this core technology for modification of cellulose. Something we are today very proud of is that we were very early in working with green chemistries. And this have recently been really let's say, knowledge to, how that you can use this type of green chemistries. So the organo in our name is based on organocatalysis. And organocatalysis is a chemistry where you use organic molecules to create different chemical reactions. This was awarded the Nobel Prize in 2021. So we were, of course, very happy that the catalysis that we've been working on since 2006 now actually got this type of recognition. Which is, in terms of science, the highest recognition that you can get. The click in our name is it stands for click chemistry, and click chemistry is also a type of chemistry where you click on molecules or click together two molecules, and we are using organocatalysis to click molecules together. And we were a bit surprised, but of course also very happy when the click chemistry was awarded the Nobel Prize in 2022. So both the click and the organo in our name has now been awarded the Nobel Prize due to that they can replace synthetic chemistries with different green chemistries. And we were actually one of the companies that were first in the world to start working with this type of chemistries to commercialize develop different type of commercial products. Today, with the OrganoClick technology, we have developed a number of products, and we're working today in 3 different product areas. We have our bio-based binders, which are linking cellulose fibers together to create stronger materials, and they are replacing plastic binders in non-woven materials and textiles, where you are. And one of the applications I have with me here today, it's a napkin, premium napkin, that is a type of non-woven material, and this traditionally had around 10 to 15% plastic polymers in it. Now, with the aid of our products, it's completely plastic-free and 100% bio-based and biodegradable. Textile waterproofing is another area which we are working with. There we are replacing bioaccumulative and toxic PFAS or fluorocarbons, which is now banned in the European Union on a broad basis and also in the US. And here we are using natural fatty acids that we are clicking onto the textiles in order to create these water repellents. Third area is the wood protection technology that we have developed, where we are replacing biocides and heavy metals with natural minerals, which we are clicking to the fibers in order to create a physical barrier to the rot fungus instead of a toxin. Today we are an industrial company. We are located up in northern Täby, where we have our factory. Today we have a capacity of producing 20,000 tons per year. We doubled the capacity last year with investment in additional production lines. Last year we had revenues of 150 million, and as part of our sustainability work, I mean, we are producing bio-based and biodegradable products, but we also want to work in a sustainable way. And we have been working for quite some years in order to reduce our carbon footprint. And last year we were proud that we can say that we got certified as a climate neutral company. One of the things that we started to work on last year, we've been, let's say for the last 10 years, we've been exploring a lot of different areas where our technology can fit into. And it had actually gone into quite a lot of areas. And we started to realize that we need to focus our business. We need to slim down and streamline our business in order to have more focus and get quicker to profitability. So we started off that work last year. And I mean, one of the key aspects in our new strategy that we now have developed is that we want to really work with profitable growth. This is a key aspect. We've been historically we've been only focusing on growth, but now we're really working on focusing on profitable growth. And how we do that? Well, the streamlining process is one really important aspect of that. We are really now focusing on these 3 different product areas that I showed you, but also focusing in terms of operations on less areas. Historically, we've been producing some materials and some chemistries. Now we are streamlining us down to only working with the green chemical production. This is, for us, a very important step in order to get more cost effective. So we are outlicensing some of the production that we have done historically, the biocomposite production, where we have produced materials that we have started to outlicense, and we now have license partners that is reducing our cost quite a lot. And we are also working on outlicensing the production of the organo wood, but we will focus on the wood treatment chemicals instead. And finally, we are, of course, looking at growth initiatives within our different selected areas, and these are the areas that I showed you. Our bio-based binders, our biocide-free wood preservatives, and the OrganoClick textile impregnation products. And here we have a lot of synergies in our own operations, in our production. We're using the same type of equipment to produce these different products, and also in the R&D, it's a lot of synergies between them. We can happily say that we already now have started to see that this have turned into better performance. As Q1 this year was the first ever where we had a positive EBIT for the whole OrganoClick group. This was a major milestone for us, I have to say, and also coming from last year where we had quite big losses in our result. So if we look into what happened during Q1 this year, we had very strong sales of our binders, and here I can say that this product, napkins, is one of the major products that we are supplying to right now. So we have big customers that are producing napkins, which are now replacing their plastic binders with our bio-based binders. Even though we're growing really a lot in this segment, but we have a very weak market also for our consumer and building-related products. So this is something that, as you probably know, consumer products are in quite difficult markets right now, and also building products are on difficult markets. So here we have quite weak markets. But for our bio-based binders, we had a big interest, and one of the new customers that we received during the quarter was the Finnish Sharpcell, which is a non-woven producer of napkins, but also for hygiene sectors. They are supplying the big hygiene companies in the world, and also wet wipes is another area which they are working on. And we also launched a new generation of our wood protection technology. Looking into the figures, we had a sales growth of 33% in the quarter. Gross margins was approximately the same, but we reduced our cost and our OpEx, and this was due to the streamlining that we did during the autumn last year, which all in all improved our EBIT quite a lot, from -4.2 last year to a little bit small plus this year. And this is, of course, a very important milestone for us. However, I mean, due to the heavy growth that we increased the trade receivables quite a lot, and that was where we bound capital into that, and that is why the cash flow became negative. But this is something that is coming back in the next quarters. And this is, we're selling to big industrial companies. They have their credit times with us, and when you grow 33%, then you bind a lot of money in that. But here we mitigate that as we now have a factoring facility, so it's been we have been able to mitigate that with credit lines. If you look at the sales per quarter now during the last 5 years, you can see that we have had a steady growth. However, the Q1 this year was the absolutely best quarter that we've ever had. 33% increase compared with Q1 in 2022. If you look at the EBIT per quarter, you can see that it was a quite big change between Q4 last year and Q1 this year. But also, if you look historically, it's our absolutely best Q1 ever. Q2 is, due to seasonal aspects, normally the strongest quarter for us. That is why we also had positive EBIT there before the pandemic started. But then when the pandemic started, we got quite a lot of troubles with cost-related issues of raw material cost. But now we are back on track, really, and that is really good to see. If you look at our different business units, as we mentioned, we have these 3 different business units. The non-woven segment have been what we've been lived in for many years, and now we can finally see that this is actually happening. The big sales increase there. Right now, the non-woven segment, the binders for non-wovens are the biggest segment, and that has happened just in a few quarters, actually. If you go into the new agreements that we have had, that we have made during this year, Sharpcell first. This is a non-woven producer producing materials for napkins or for wet wipes and for hygiene products. They launched plastic-free non-woven with our binders on a fair in the end of March. They started now commercial production in Q2, so that has not been part of the Q1 growth, but this is starting later on. They are family-owned business, really good to work with, and medium-sized company, so not super big, but reasonably big. Then in April, we went into another agreement, and this is probably the best customer that we can have in our business. American Glatfelter, listed at Dow Jones in New York. They are one of the world's largest non-woven producers, supplying all the big giants in the hygiene industry. And you know the three big ones in that is Procter & Gamble, Kimberly-Clark, and Essity. They have factories both in Europe and in the US, and they now launched a home compostable air-laid non-woven product at the fair in Geneva in April, and they will start now commercialization during Q2. And for us, this was our dream customer, I can say. So a really, really good customer that we now have started to work with, and also that we went out with them publicly to announce that this collaboration started. So we, as I mentioned, they launched the product at the world's largest non-woven fair in Geneva, where we also took part. Here also 2 other customers pre-showed non-woven products with our binders for soon to be launched for the hygiene sector. So there were 4 different products that was shown here. 2 were launched and 2 other was shown. And for us, we also launched something that is very important in this business. It's a regulatory requirement in many products, and it is that the non-woven material becomes certified as home compostable. So this is something that is making us stand out a lot in this business environment. There does not exist any other binder that is certified as home compostable. So this is very important for our customer, and I think this will drive our business even further. In end of April, we also announced another collaboration. This is for our OrganoTex products. Bever is the biggest outdoor retailer in the Netherlands. They have around 75% of the Dutch outdoor market, and they launched OrganoTex together with us in all their stores. So we believe this will be one of our biggest customers within these segments now in 2023 and in 2024. And we also, as I mentioned, launched a new wood protection technology, OrganoWood Nova, which we have been working on developing since 2015. And why this is, for us, a very important technology is that it's easier to produce, easier to get an even quality on this product. And finally, but not least, you're using exactly the same equipment as they do in the pressure impregnation technology today. So this is a very easy product to implement in other wood impregnation companies' production facility. And previously we've had a technology where you needed to have a special drying oven and some special equipment in the process in order to get the good quality. But now you can use exactly the same equipment as they do today. And this lowers the limits for other wood impregnation companies to start using this product. If you look into 2023, our main focus is continued development of our non-woven projects. We're focusing on the segments of wet wipes, hygiene products, and tabletop products. Tabletop is when you have wet wipe, when you have napkins like this or table covers. For the OrganoTex, we're continuing focusing on our international expansion with a big focus on Germany right now, and also Austria and Switzerland, so the DACH region. And of course, the launch of OrganoWood Nova is another big theme for this year. So with that, and I'm happy to take some questions, Adrian.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Morten, for your presentation. I'll go straight ahead with a few questions.
Yep.
First of all, I'd like to start on your new contracts for the bio-based binders. Can you talk a bit about how the ramp-up period for those could look, and perhaps also looking a bit ahead, what the long-term potential of the projects could be?
Yeah, well, I mean, we have not gone out with any figures yet, because it's always challenging to say exactly how fast the ramp-up period will be. That we know from our previous products in 2021, when we signed our first major agreement in non-woven, we thought it would ramp up much quicker than it did. Now it took another year, but I believe this will be quicker because now we know a lot more about non-woven production. Of course, we have a better team that is better in implementing our projects or in our products in new non-woven producers facilities, and there are also let's say more urgency, I would say, among our customers to get out with sustainable products now, as they want to get plastic free. This is a big driver for our customers to get rid of the plastics. So I'd say we will see some sales starting off now as they are starting producing here in Q2, but I believe by the end of the year we will have more information about how quick it will go. So in particular, Glattfeldt can be a very large customer for us. That has a very big potential. They have around 30% of the market in the segment which we are focusing on right now, of the global market, and none of the other non-woven producers that we are working on have more than 3-4% each. So they are really a dominant player in this market. So.
And looking at another one of your growth initiatives, the OrganoTex, textile impregnation, we are heading into the high season in Q2, and you've signed some new deals. But on the other hand, as you mentioned, we're seeing some weaker consumer demand. How should we think about the OrganoTex product sales going forward from here?
Yes, you say we have two different parts in this. We have a weaker consumer market in general, but we are on the same hand taking a lot of new customers. So we believe we'll have a good growth for the OrganoTex in this year. but it will not. Yeah, I mean, let's say very reasonable growth for this, which will be certainly in line with what we see for the group as a whole. So, I mean, Beijer, that deal is for us a major growth driver for OrganoTex.
Yeah. And then looking a bit at your exciting new strategy of streamlining your operations. Obviously, the big point there is outsourcing the wood production. Can you talk a bit about the current cost base for the wood production, how it's going to change? How are the figures actually going to change of getting rid of that production?
We have not gone out explicitly with how it will change, Adrian, but we will certainly be less cash intensive when we're talking about our business as a whole. Today we have to tie up quite a lot of capital in the stock for the wood itself, because you need to keep quite a lot of stock in order to sell this type of product. When we work together with the wood treatment companies that are doing that for us, we can really get rid of that effect of binding a lot of capital in the stock. And I think that is one very important part in streamlining this, but also in terms of focusing on our chemical production. So we'll certainly reduce our cost quite a lot with this. But I will not give you any figure today, as we have not gone out with that explicitly.
Yeah, and I understand. And also perhaps the next question as well, you can't give an exact answer on, but what can you tell us about where you are in the process of this strategy, is streamlining your operations? When can we expect to hear some news on this?
We have ongoing discussions with a number of actors today. So hopefully we can get up with more information during the year, but we have several discussions right now.
Okay. And one final question from my end before we have to wrap up. You have a lot of new sort of exciting opportunities, signing new customers, but at the same time you're sitting on a fairly slim cash position at the moment. Can you just talk about the near term, how you're managing the cash position?
Well, we have, as we said, we have secured quite good check credit lines. So we have this as a buffer today, where we can handle the let's say the running cash flow that we need in order to grow. We also have quite big stock which we want to get down, and so there we have quite a lot of capital that we can release from just getting down the stock today. So this is the strategy going forward there.
Okay. With that being said, we have to round off, and I'd once again like to thank you for your presentation. And I'll leave it up to you if you have any final remarks before we round off.
No, not more than we're very happy that we can actually, for the first time, present the positive EBIT in the first quarter. And that feels very good after been working for a long time to try to achieve that.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.